Okay, for a second time this day. Good morning, good afternoon, depending from which time zone you're joining. Welcome to this Tricise webinar. Today we'll talk about the Atomic Security and Compliance Check. Before we start with the meeting, before we go into details, let me explain a few features. Your audio is turned off, so in case of you have questions regarding the functionality, regarding any other topics, I will explain, I will tell you during the meeting. Please feel free, use the chat area of our meeting software to ask your question. At the end of this webinar, I will read out the question and of course I will answer it. If you have a question which, due to my experience, might take too long to be answered during this session because we have a 1 hour time frame for this meeting. So if an answer or the analysis would take too long, then I will take it offline. We know your email address and I will provide the answer via an email. So you will get a response via email. Good. Yeah, so far to the meeting and to the, sorry, not to the meeting, to the webinar. Yeah, let's introduce the brand new security and compliance check to you. Before we start with the product itself, let me introduce the company, Tricise. The service portfolio for Automic Automation we offer for you as a customer are separated into different levels. Let's start at the bottom, Automic Product Service. So if you have licensed the product via us, via Tricise, we support you in using the product. We maintain the ticket management software, and if a ticket cannot be solved by us internally, we will get Broadcom in addition to this ticket to help us. We also have a technical account manager for you as a customer, and depending on your support contract, usually we provide support during business hours. If you want, you can also get premium support, which is 24/7, 7 days a week, including holidays, including public holidays, Christmas, Easter holidays, etc. Next level, above from product support, is 2 services are stated here. One is the application managed service, the other is Automic SaaS. So in addition to Broadcom, which is also offering a SaaS option, we as Tricise also offer a SaaS option. This means we run Automic in the cloud environment for you in detail, the server components, utility, database, etc., whatever belongs to the core component of Automic runs in the cloud. And in your customer environment, you will have agents connected to this cloud environment. AWI, the Automic Web Interface, is also running in the cloud in this SaaS model. The other offer, which is stated here, is application managed service. This is separated into 3 parts. The first part is administration service, so we can do the administration for you. When it comes to installation, when it comes to customer onboarding, when it comes to, user onboarding, when it comes to creating a new client because we need a new environment, or we have a department which requires to run atomic tasks in their own environment. This all belongs to the administration services. We will do it for you. We can do ops. This means we can monitor your processes, and whenever it comes to an error, whenever a workflow gets blocked and we need to restart or we need to cancel the workflow, we can do this for you. And last but not least, we can also do implementation for you. Workflow design. Well, it's not only limited to workflows, of course. You all know the product. It's job development, implementation, file transfer, scripting stuff, file events, triggering, etc. Whatever is needed for your implementation. Oops, wrong direction, sorry. Operation services are offered, can be subscribed from Tricise. And when it comes to the product itself, and your company is new to Automic or to UC4, you might have heard the name before. Yes, we offer public trainings. In a couple of weeks, we will enable setting the green light for the Automic University. We will have the Automic University up and running, which is our training center. For public trainings, we also provide customer-specific trainings. If you want to have a mix of a little bit of user training, admin training, a little bit of scripting training, we'll create a customized workshop for you. And of course, for any other topics, when it comes to single sign-on functionality or upgrade, very popular these days. How do we upgrade the system? We will set up a workshop, a know-how transfer workshop, and the customer, if he is able and willing to do it, based on our experience, based on our recommendations, the customer then can upgrade the system on its own. Now it comes a little bit closer to today's topic, security and compliance action pack. This is one of our optimization products or add-on products we offer. Starting from the left, System Health Check is available since I started with System Health Check, this consulting offer in version 5. Same for the upgrade check that helps customers to find incompatible stuff in their current Automic system, which should be changed before upgrading to a new version. Security and compliance is today's topic. Last session, that was in April, the topic was process analysis and optimization. We help customers to analyze their tasks, to check the frequency, to get a list of how many tasks have completed in a normal way, have abandoned. You know, or you might know that Broadcom has introduced a new license model, and we will help you to, let's say, optimize the system to fit a little bit better into the new license model. Version upgrade is a topic. Performance tuning. If you think that, or if you already know that your system is not behaving that good, it was better when we installed the system a couple of years ago, but now new components were added, a lot of implementations have been done, and now maybe the workload is too high, we need to have more batch work processes, or we have too many batch work processes, too many WPs, so it's necessary to reduce the number because of deadlocks and other error messages. Pre-built solutions mainly focusing SAP. So we have the system copy available or SAP system refresh product available, mass data processing, which is dealing with IS modules, industry solution modules, industry specific modules for healthcare, for telecom, for utility provider. We have a lot of action packs available and utilities, including Java tools to recalculate calendar objects, to activate, deactivate a high number of objects. So you won't do it manually. You need an automation of activating, deactivating objects. So there are a lot of Java tools available. And last but not least, the 3C release manager, which is working in the area of staging. It's a staging concept, or it's a support within a staged environment. The question is, how do we get objects from one environment to another environment? Directly, change management is available, and other interesting and time-saving functionality is integrated into the release manager. And finally, on top, our expert consulting services. Installing the product, configuration of the product is covered, project implementations. We are currently running huge implementation projects for customers in Germany in the banking environment, where we help those customers with the implementation of business workflows. Development can be done by us. Application integration, SAP, sub-automation, third-party migration. If you have another scheduling product and you want to migrate all the objects to Automic, this can be a migration from Control M, this can be a migration from CA job track, from CA 11, from whatever product you have. We will help you to migrate all the objects from your scheduling. And even if it's Unix cron tab entries or Windows scheduling entries, we will help you to get those objects, those routines, shell scripts, etc. to Automic. And of course, we know how to migrate an on-premise Automic installation to the SaaS environment. Good. When we see the evolution path of automation, it all has started, you might know this depending on your age, depending on how long you're working in IT. It all has started on the mainframe. Number one, classical job scheduling. More or less, it was a time-based execution. Event processing was not the big topic there. The batch processing ran on the mainframe. How does this fit into security? Mainframes usually have a centralized security model. This means if you define a user on the mainframe, you can log on using a terminal emulation, not depending which mainframe you're using. It might be an IBM mainframe, BS 2000, Siemens, Fujitsu mainframe, Chicos, whatever mainframe you had or still have in place. If you still have a mainframe in place, if you still run a mainframe, then you know all the processing is centralized. So we have centralized security, either via SECOS, ACF, RAC, or whatever product you're using. So in terms of security, it was, compared to the other evolution steps, it was an easy management. This was not a big deal to manage security at that time. Then it came to the second step, workload automation. Workload automation typically means we have more complex process chains, not only a sequential run of one object after the other and parallel runs. No, here we have added capability, added functionality, dependency checking, status checking, which you know from the Automic product. We had the integration of external batch and web services. Hey, security point. User IDs of those external web services are no longer maintained on the mainframe, no longer maintained in the scheduling app. We get them from the external web service. So we have to ask the web service administrator, the external batch administrator, under which user ID should this task run? And of course, we need to know the password. Client server environments came up during this period. So we have extended security aspects, more security aspects than we had before. Number 3, hyper automation, SOAP. Don't mix it up with the web service protocol. It's not the predecessor of REST. SOAP in this area means a service automation protocol that covers a holistic approach. Self-service portals were introduced. So you no longer call the data center, the people working there, or write an email to them, please start my job every day at 1800, except on the weekend. You can do it yourself. You can even create a task via a self-service portal. You only have to provide the command that the task should run. Creation of the job object, if it comes to Automic, creation of the job object will be done by the routine. We only need to know the command, probably user ID, password, yeah, and of course the agent on which this command should run. Real-time data orchestration is covered. And we have a new platform, cloud integration. Everyone wants to go into the cloud, wants to migrate applications, entire platforms to the cloud. Another security aspect. We need to deal with operating system credentials. We need to know cloud credentials, tokens, the modern way. Typically, you don't use a user ID password combination any longer. The modern way, the smart way, the nice looking way is you will get a token that contains the user ID, password, and probably other stuff. And logging on to a cloud-based system like Amazon S3 and Amazon Bucket, can be done by providing a token. And the next step, according to Gartner and all the other market research companies, is AI-assisted automation. And we still have it in version 24 of Automic. Automic comes with an AI, an additional, an optional module that connects to any LLM. Some of the bullet points: low-code integration, AI-powered process control. Automic version 24 is able to read the report, to interpret the report, and suggest, in case of an error, to show what is the error, why did the job fail. And based on the large language model, LLM, the artificial intelligence, the AI component can suggest, if you want to fix this, please do this, rerun the job, and then you will see it will complete successfully. Additional applications will be merged into the workload system. So we have to deal with, again, additional external components. We have to serve interfaces. We have to deal with user IDs, token, access tokens, bearer tokens, and other stuff. So it's not only the case that workload automation or job scheduling is growing. No, each step adds more functionality, possibilities to the system. And of course, we have to think about security. If you still run old-fashioned security, it might work for the current release of Automic. It might work. In some cases, it will no longer work. And if you think about GDPR or ISO 27000 rules and regulations, they say, no, what you're doing is no longer supported. That's outdated. Please adapt your security to a new level. Probably a situation you have heard before, you have experienced before. Suppose you work for a medium-sized e-commerce company that operates a shopping portal, so you can buy goods from this company, from your company. It doesn't make a difference if it's clothes or parts of a machine or whatever the company sells. Important point here is you're running a web service portal. External customers can log on, can buy goods, can select how to pay, immediate payment, bank transfer, credit card numbers, PayPal stuff, etc. So you need to have an interface to the external service provider, to the payment service provider. And let's suppose this portal, this web service application is based on an Apache Tomcat server. Of course, load balanced, failover stuff, etc. You know this. For security reasons, you have installed a security scanner, an IT security scanner, which runs periodically. And one night during a scheduled scan, this security scanner discovers a critical vulnerability in an outdated version of. I had this in the last month before, customers running Tomcat. The security scanner has raised an alert. Tomcat version is too old, 9.0.80, 90, patch level 100, etc. There are security leaks. Please update your product. Not please update, but you have to update the product to be on the safe side. What would happen if you don't have such a scanning mechanism? You don't know that the product is outdated. You don't know. You will not know that there is a component, an Java class used, a library used by one of your products, which is no longer safe. So you can attack this component. An external, a cyber criminal, can penetrate your application and via this door, via this unsecure door, I can connect from external, I can connect to the database, I can read customer information, payment information, credit card numbers, PIN codes, etc. from a database, and then I can tell you, well, let's have an agreement. I give you 1 week to pay me 1,000 Bitcoins. If you don't pay in time, I will talk to newspapers, I will talk to television, I will send them all this customer information I have stolen from your system, and then let's see how it behaves on your end. So such an incident could, again, could, it's not a must, could have a lot of consequences. Financial losses. Well, you have to pay the cyber criminal, or you don't pay an amount of money in Bitcoins or any other currency. Reputation will go down. I don't think that you can hide this information from the world. Somewhere, probably in the company, which knows that something has happened in the IT, will talk one evening to his friend, and his friend will talk to his friend, and his friend will talk to his friend, and the other friend works for a newspaper agency. Legal consequences. There are more and more coming. GDPR in Europe and other regulations in other countries and states typically will result in heavy fines. One example, it's not that IT related, but in Sweden, if you are driving too fast, you will not pay a fixed amount of money because you have exceeded the maximum speed. The money you have to pay is according to your income. This means if you earn more money, you have to pay more money for the fine. Interesting model. GDPR has also some aspects in this area. And of course, business interruption. I hack your system. If I'm the cyber criminal, I can hack your system. And if you don't pay in time, I will shut down your machines. And even if you disconnect your machines from the internet, my little pieces of software, my ransomware or whatever you call it, is still implemented on your side in your operating system. And the countdown is running. So after 1 week without payment, your machines will go down and you don't have any chance to bring them up again. So use of the scanner makes sense. And we can react immediately. To round this up, IT security scanner software, just to hear the name Nessus, very popular for scanning networks, hosts, and applications. OpenVIS, the open source alternative. Nmap, very popular network scanner used to find open ports, check if the firewall is working, etc. Yeah, for Atomic, the automation engine, yeah, we can use port scanner to get an information if from my machine, if it's possible to reach the automation engine server. The server processes since version 21 are using WebSocket protocol, typically configured to 8441, 8443, 8444, 8445. I can use Nmap to check if from a computer I can reach. I can also use telnet or any other command, of course. But that's the outside of Atomic. Nmap does not check what is running internally. If system parameters, if client settings are configured correctly, or if you have enabled anonymous job and the configuration of the agent allows to run tasks, allows to run jobs without knowing the password. On a Unix machine, the most important, the most powerful account is root. If the agent is configured to not check a password, I only need to specify the root account and if I'm allowed to do so, and then I can run jobs under the root account on a Unix machine. If I know what to do, I can delete system files, I can reconfigure the system, I can make it unusable. Same for Windows, same for other operating system platforms. So the products which are available on the market, they don't look inside of Automic. Our product, our new product, the Tricise Atomic Security and Compliance Action Pack is doing this. So we can look behind the wall. On the other side, we don't check if Tomcat is outdated, if Java needs to be upgraded, etc. Here, this list of products can be used to achieve it. For Automic, we have our own security scanner. So the solution for improving security in Automic has some focus points. Securing user accounts and permissions. Who is allowed to do what? Very important. Sometimes in small installations, small size companies, we will find a setup that, let's say, there are 5 Automic users defined, and all of these users have full access to the system, all the privileges, all the object access rights, because everyone is administrator, everyone is also operator, monitoring the system, and everyone is developer. And to simplify the process, everyone is working under the admin-powered account. There's no developer account, there is no operator account. Everyone is working as administrator, which is fine. The administrator can administrate the system. I can create new users, I can do client management, etc. As an administrator, full access to objects. I can create new jobs, I can create workflows, file trigger stuff, script objects, etc. I'm allowed to do so. And of course, I can monitor the system. I can switch to the process monitoring window. I can see what is currently running. I can cancel, I can block, I can suspend objects. No problem. I don't, and that's easy to use because I don't have to switch accounts. I can use my one and only admin account because it's so powerful. Should not be done. Bad idea, tell you. Central authentication and password mechanisms. Yeah, what's the idea? Greater control and protection. Security relevant system settings. So we take a look at host characteristics, system settings, client settings, agent security parameters, TLS specific settings, and other security related important configuration settings, which are important for you as a customer. Encryption and communication mechanisms are also checked by our mechanism, by our action pack. Yeah, for what reason? We want to protect sensitive data. Workload systems very often have access to confidential information. Payroll process. If you run the payroll process in Automic, and let's say the payroll starts on SAP, the central HR system. What does it mean for Automic? We need to start an ABAP, which is an SAP program, to create the monthly list of amount of euros or whatever currency you're using, US dollars, Singapore dollars, etc. Which employee needs to be paid with which sum? This information we get from SAP, typically text information. And we need to get this information to the bank. This means we start on SAP. Typically, we have a file transfer from the SAP system to another computer, from which we send this information via a banking interface. Can be a REST API or Code API or FTP process. We send this information to the bank, and then the bank will handle the remaining stuff, will do the payout. Is it really necessary that everyone, every developer, every operator has full access to this workflow, or can we limit the access to prevent unauthorized access, which is also part of the GDPR rules and the ISO 27000 rules? Preventing downtime. A security leak, in some cases, can lead to a system outage. If you don't know that your system, which is part of the workload solution, that the system is vulnerable, if you don't know it, well, you might be surprised that on one day, in the morning, in the evening, during night, the component goes down. Yeah, because there was a security leak and someone has hacked into the system externally or internally and shut down the computer. Compliance requirements, number 3, more and more important. It's getting more and more important. Yeah, GDPR, ISO 27000. Early threat detection. I would feel good if I know in advance that probably we have a security-related issue in this environment on this machine. So I have the time to fix it and not I will be informed by a security problem and I have 10 minutes time to fix it. Well, if there is nothing else to do, I can do it, but it's better to be informed 1 week in advance so I can take the time which is necessary to fix the problem. I can plan my task. Data loss manipulation, same stuff, very similar to the first point. Protect from unauthorized access and minimizing the economic damage is also a good idea. So in short, security analysis, if it's an atomic security analysis or an external by using Nessus, Nmap, etc., is a key component of risk management. A very important key component with one of the highest priorities for risk management to ensure stability of the system and trustful operation of the entire atomic system. What does this security and compliance action pack cover? How does it work? How do we operate? Well, first of all, we need to find out what is the current status. Which atomic version you're running, which database is used by the engine. Is it a Microsoft SQL server? Is it an Oracle database? Is it a Postgres database? Yeah, by the way, DB2 is currently not supported. The reason is, it's not a technical reason. Well, I can create the queries also for DB2. That's not the point, but there are not many customers still running DB2 as an atomic repository. Allianz, you might have heard the name, the insurance company, headquartered in Munich. We migrated the database together with Broadcom from DB2 to another platform. Some years ago, we had Atomic systems connected to a DB2 environment running on a mainframe, on an IBM ZOS mainframe. Yeah, that's gone. We now have modern databases working there. And some other customers are still running DB2, but you can count them by fingers on one or two hands. Again, it's not that important. If needed, of course, we will create the DB2 compatible statements here. So first step, coming back to the show, first step is get a picture of what is currently running in your system. How does the landscape look like? Do we have a single server, dual server, agents, etc.? Then it comes to the next step. We collect the necessary data. How do we do this? Or, well, not we personally, not me personally, not my colleagues in person. It's the action pack. So the action pack will run SQL queries, database queries on your database. Again, MS SQL, Postgres, Oracle. We help you in configuring the action pack. So we need to provide some parameters, database connection, input-output directories. Do we write the output, the raw output to the, if it's a Windows-based platform, to the temp folder, or should we store it on a Unix machine in /opt/ security check output, etc. And finally, of course, we will start the action pack itself. That will run for, depending on the system, 10 minutes, and then we will have output files available. These output files need to be sent back to us in order to create the report. And then we'll have a joint analysis workshop to discuss, share and discuss the results and set priorities. You will get a list of security related issues. We have to find a priority, or you have to find a priority. What is the most important point which we need to fix maybe today or tomorrow? And other tasks can be deferred till next week or next 2 weeks or next month. So we'll talk about recommendations. What should be done immediately? What can be done in the next weeks or so? This is part, oh, let me go back. This is part of the service package for a fixed price. There are no hidden fees. So yeah, and if you want to see the report, then you need to pay an extra amount of 200 euros. And if you want to have the workshop, and if you want to have recommendations, then again, you have to pay 500 euros in addition. No, not the case. There's a fixed price for the entire package. In addition, and this is the optional part, we can help in the implementation phase. This means based on the recommendations of the security and compliance action pack, we can change configuration parameters according to whatever is in the report. And of course, based on the priority. And what also makes sense is it makes sense to review the settings, to check after doing these modifications in client 0, system settings, host characteristics, agent security, TLS parameter, INI configuration files are also checked by the security pack. So after applying the changes, it makes sense, not immediately, maybe sometime later, it makes sense to run the action pack again and then compare the output. And then we can mark, okay, this is the old report, we did this and this and this, and that's the new report. Hey, it's no longer stated here. We are safe. And this is part of the project work. As mentioned before, that's optional. And we charge based on time and material. So there's no fixed price, no, in German it's called Pauschale. No fixed price for this. That's regular consulting work, which you know in your own. Some of the important evaluations the action pack will do. Some. There are in total 30, 35 areas we check. System user verification. It's not a joke, it's real. I'm also doing health check. Mentioned before, I started with the health check and the upgrade check with version, at that time it was named UC4, it was version 6, so that was 10 years ago. There are still atomic systems up and running, productive prod systems, prod environments, where the customer has not changed the password of the client 0 UC user. And you might know that the steps how to install Atomic, there's a documentation freely available in the internet. You go to docs.atomic.com, select the version, go to the Atomic documentation, go to installation, and then you will find the information. Okay, step 1, create the database. Step 2, start DB load the initial data, load the initial data and default data into the database. And it's stated that you should change the password of the UC user. You should. It's not a must. The system can operate with the default password, but bad idea. It is stated, it's mentioned in the documentation. So everyone which has access to the documentation can try to hack your system by, well, let's try to log on to client 0 using the UC user and the default password. If you have not changed the user ID, yeah, bad idea, bad luck. Another point is administrative accounts. You should not have, and this is not only true for Atomic, you will get this recommendation for other software, SAP, mainframe environments, any operating system environment as well. Don't share an administrative account. Create personal admin accounts. So everyone can log on using his own personal account. It's better for system auditing. Yeah, second point, login objects. Do you know that you can configure Atomic to run jobs without valid information in a login object? So you can create a login object. You can add any user ID, any password, incorrect information. Then you create a job. You assign this login object containing invalid information to the job. You click on execute and the job runs error-free. Hey, how come? That's because of a setting in the host characteristics. We will check it. Well, again, not personally the action pack will check it. How is this configured? How is this anonymous mechanism configured? And anonymous can be used in combination with a parameter in the INI agent configuration file. Login check equal yes, equal no. The default value is equal no. This means passwords in a login object will not be checked. So if I'm allowed to create a job because I'm a developer, that's my task. In addition, if I'm allowed to create my own login object and I know I have access to a Unix agent, I can create a login object, I can specify the account root, I can enter any password because I know the agent will not check the password. The agent only will use the account name root, and voila, I can run a job under the root account and no one knows. Well, a security audit will bring this up. But at the time of operation, I can run the job. I can destroy systems. I can manipulate data. I can delete files. I can change the content of system files because I'm able to run a process under the operating system administrative account, the most powerful account. So next point, SQL variables. With version 24, a new functionality was added to the Automic product. We now can define a user which is used for SQLi operations. Might be an interesting point when you upgrade. But this needs to be added manually. If you have a former system, version 12, you have upgraded it, or Tricise, we have upgraded it to 21, and now you're upgrading to 24. Might be interesting to work with this parameter. Service manager configuration. You can run a service manager, not talking about the dialog, I'm talking about the service manager service, which runs as a daemon on Unix or as a service on Windows. The service manager can be configured with passwords. Now we have 3 levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. The old service manager has worked only with 1 password. Anyway, passwords are sent in clear text on the network. So if you install Wireshark on your machine and you're able to sniff the network traffic, you might see the password. You don't see the clear text password if you have installed CAPKey, CAPKI, in addition. The TLS 1.2 security module for the service manager. Non-LDAP users. LDAP users are checked in the LDAP environment, dealing with the password complexity, minimal, maximal lengths, uppercase, lowercase, usage of numbers has to be used, special characters have to be used. Yeah, that's good. That's checked by the LDAP system. But how about local users? Do we have a password policy in place for LDAP users? Or can they use any password? Can they use no password? That's the default setting. You don't have to have a password. You can use blank as a password. So you only give the client number in the login mask of AWI. You only enter client number, user ID, department, and that's it. No password, empty password. Click on login and you're connected to the system. And mail interface configuration. Maybe you have too many users defined in the system because there was an idea a couple of years ago that every employee needs to have an account in Atomic. Only 10% of the employees have used Atomic. The other 90%, they are still defined as Atomic users. They have roles assigned to the users. But no one has ever logged on with this user account. We will check this and we will report it to you. What's the security aspect? Well, there's a default password. It's a 4-character password, small characters, lowercase characters. So if I know the user ID from this 90%, out of this 90%, which was never used, and based on some information, I know that this is an admin account. The default password, by the way, is also mentioned in the Automic documentation. So it's easy to get this information, then I can try to log on. No one else has used this account before, because if you log on for the very first time, you are forced to change the password. No logon happened before, default password in use. Some of the important evaluations the Security and Compliance Action Pack will do. As mentioned before, there are 35 points, different security-related configuration settings we check. During the consultation, you closely work with a Tricise consultant. After the Security and Action Pack run, we are still available. We can help you in integrating the changes into your processes, into your systems, and make sure that the recommended settings are in place. Some results. You get a very comprehensive report, an examination report. How is your current configuration doing? Is it good? Is it bad? It's not fixed yet, just some talking between the lines. There will be a rating system. We are not sure if the rating will be in form of similar to a progress indicator from 1 up to 5. 1 is the best, 5 is the worst, or we have a traffic light, just a simple red, yellow, green symbol to indicate this is a very important feature. Please, this needs to be fixed as soon as possible, or a green colored lamp. Anonymous is not in use. Agent parameters configured in the INI file are correct. We give green light for the system or for a bunch of agent platforms. Yeah, measurement, practical guidance, already talked about this. One important information for you, beside the functionality, what stands behind the Security and Compliance Action Pack, how much does it cost? There will be a fixed price of 3,200 euros for the package. Remember the silos, the first 3 silos. So we provide the software, the action pack to you. We will configure the action pack. We will run it if necessary together with you, or you know how to start an action pack, you know how to work with the interactive prompt set mechanism. Of course, you can do it on your own, and then we'll create the report for you. So it includes the action pack itself for your database provider, Postgres, Oracle, SQL Server, and creating the report and discussing the results with you. It's defined to be a remote task, but if necessary, and if you want to extend this action pack for, let's say, we'll have 1 day for the action pack itself, creating the report, discussing the report, and we will do a short workshop, an upgrade workshop, or a what is new in the area of administration in version 24. We can do it in this week. Right? First day, security action pack, and the remaining days, atomic workshop with any topic. Yeah, then it can be on-site. So it can be remote or it can be on-site. I think I've already mentioned this, subsequently adjusting security relevant parameters. No, I have not mentioned this before. If you find out Let's say you have installed the Automic system, the Automic environment, former version 8. You have upgraded to version 10, to version 11, version 12, version 21, version 24. The parameters in the UC underscore VARA objects, parameters will not change. They are still based on version, which have you started with? Version 10. Still version 10 parameters in the VARA objects. It's time consuming, and of course it costs more to analyze this afterwards. It makes sense to check parameters, to check tasks, processes, etc. immediately when you implement it, and not do it afterwards, because the risk of losing data might be high, depending on the parameter. Or someone, based on the anonymous setting, can steal data, can corrupt data, because he can run the task as root. So he can modify data input files and other stuff. With this consulting package, we make sure that your system is working well with regards to security-related configuration parameters, of course. Yeah, we are planning to have further events. 4 minutes overtime. Apologize for this. What we already did is we had a web shop, sorry, the other word, a webinar that was on April 14, already done, dealing with the process analysis and optimization pack. Today, May 20, today is 27. We have now completed, I will mark it with already done, the webinar talking about the security and compliance action pack. We plan to have more webinars, upgrade to version 24, our own findings, what can happen, our do's and don'ts, lessons learned when upgrading to version 24, and other stuff. Single sign-on is one of the topic. LDAP related thing is one of the topics. So we will prepare webinars as soon as they are available. We will inform you either via our webpage. You see the link at the bottom, https://tricise.com/events. And of course, we will also send out a LinkedIn post.